You have stood in quiet seasons, hands full of seeds that felt as if they would never break the surface. You tended them anyway, steady, patient, sometimes doubtful, often weary. Tonight a still, clear voice meets you where you are. It says, your waiting has been seen. Your fidelity in the small things has been noticed, and now a first harvest is beginning to stir. This is not a sudden wind of chaos. It is a gentle unrolling of what has been growing beneath the soil of your life. While you waited, God refined the way you think about provision. He adjusted your vision. He strengthened you to carry what is coming. What arrives now will test your new capacity, not to frighten you, but to honor the work that made this season possible. Watch for doors that open with surprising ease. Watch for unexpected alignments, people, opportunities, income streams that fit together in a way that feels like divine choreography. The reward you receive will match the length of your patience. It will bring rest where you were anxious, dignity where you felt diminished, and stability where you learned to survive day by day. Still, move slowly. Do not rush into decisions because relief has finally shown itself. Do not retreat into old fears that tell you this cannot last. Stewardship is the language of this moment. Receive with grateful reverence. Plan with wise restraint. Celebrate with humble confidence. This is about more than money. It is about a redistribution of blessing, the practical relief that allows you to breathe again, to provide, and to give. It is about a deeper rest that turns survival into fruitfulness. If your heart trembles at the thought of trusting hope again, hear this. The harvest arriving is righteous and measured. You are being prepared to hold it. What has been your longest season of waiting? Share one way God refined you in that time. Stay with me. In the next video, we will walk step by step through the first signs of this financial unfolding and how to steward what's coming. Tap to continue. You have tended those invisible seeds for a long time. In the silence, a voice, gentle as dawn, begins to name what your hands already knew. This waiting was not wasted. Here, in this slow turning, God speaks with a clarity that feels like a soft wind lifting the curtains of your doubt. Hear it. Your endurance has been counted. The season of planting has been shaping more than soil. It has been shaping you. As you listen, notice how your thinking shifts. Where fear once tightened your chest, a new steadiness grows. Your vision, once narrow and anxious, widens like the horizon after a long night. You begin to see not just one way forward, but the architecture of provision. Doors you hadn't considered, people who appear in the right moment, resources that redirect toward your hands. This is not sudden luck. It is the slow work of refinement. Patience teaching prudence, pain teaching perspective, scarcity teaching gratitude. You may feel surprised at how relief comes. A burden lifts in a simple, almost ordinary way. A promise arrives, a debt lightens, an offer opens, and yet it carries the weight of divine timing. It will not be frantic. God's affirmation is a steadying rhythm. Do not rush, do not retreat. Move with the careful confidence of someone who has been trained to steward what is given. The harvest unfolding is not only about money. It is about rest that softens your shoulders, dignity that steadies your step, and stability that allows you to nurture others. If your heart tightens at the thought of hope, know this is expected. Allow the gentleness of this word to meet that caution. Stay present. Receive, quietly, without pressure. Let curiosity bloom. What might God be rearranging right now in your life to prepare for this provision? Reflect in the comments. What have you been waiting to see rewarded? Share one small sign you've noticed. Then come to the next video, where we will walk slowly through the first practical steps to enter this unfolding harvest. You have been careful with small things, counting pennies, refining plans, learning to say no when every yes felt like risk. In the silence that stretched longer than you expected, God was not absent. He was cultivating. Now, as if a soft wind has shifted, the ground you thought barren begins to give. Opportunities do not explode into sudden windfalls. They arrive aligned, like doors opening along a corridor you were only allowed to walk once you were ready. You notice offers that make sense, connections that feel ordained, and resources that come with fewer strings attached. This is the first unfolding of the harvest. Your endurance was not merely stubbornness. It was training. While you waited, your perspective was being tempered. Fear loosened its grip. Ambition was rewired into stewardship, and your definition of success expanded beyond numbers to rest, dignity, and lasting stability. Where you once rushed to fill gaps, you now see where to build. Where you once hoarded, you now discern when to distribute. The capacity to steward what is coming has been grown in quiet seasons of correction and prayer. Do not mistake gentleness for passivity. God's voice that says, "Now," is also the voice that teaches restraint. Do not rush headlong as if speed will secure blessing. Do not retreat into old doubts because a first blessing provokes fear. Walk forward with measured steps. Receive what is given, organize it well, and allow the structure of your life to reflect the permanence of this change. Provision arrives not only to solve a crisis, but to establish a new rhythm. Bills met without sweat, choices made without desperation, sleep restored. This moment asks for faith that is practical, a faith that signs the new lease, opens the account, hires the help, or simply rests when rest is the sign of returning dignity. Let curiosity rise within you. What would you do differently if you believed the harvest matches the wait? Share below one shift you feel ready to steward, a small step you will take this week. When you are ready, come to the next video, where we will name the first practical moves to secure what God is handing you. Block 4 of 9. You have come to the edge of something holy and new. For so long you held seed in patient hands, learning the contours of faith in the silence. Now the ground shifts. God's voice is not a thunderclap, but a soft, unmistakable invitation. The season of planting is giving way to the season of harvest. You feel it like a warming under the skin, a readiness that was being grown in you all along. This is not sudden luck. It is the careful unfolding of what was formed in the quiet. Your mindset refined, your expectations recalibrated, your capacity increased. While you hesitated, God was training your stewardship. He was teaching you restraint so you would not squander, enlarging your vision so you could receive more without fear, and steadying your hands so you could hold what comes with dignity. Opportunities begin to line up. Doors that were once closed yield a crack, then a doorway. People show up with timely connections. Resources appear in unexpected places. Provision arrives not just as money, but as peace, rest, and a new sense of worth. You may still be cautious. That caution is wise. But do not let it harden into doubt. Walk slowly into this promise. Test it with humble faith. Tend what is given with gratitude and wisdom. Let your first actions be ones of careful stewardship rather than impulsive relief. Remember, the reward matches the wait. The harvest coming for you is meant to restore more than your bank balance. It is meant to restore your ability to rest, to provide for those you love, and to stand with dignity. Receive the confirmation without rushing. Celebrate without fear. Learn to steward well, and the flow will become a steady river. What small, faithful step will you take first? Share one word or a short sentence in the comments that captures what you're hearing today. Stay with this moment. In the next video, we will walk together through the practical rhythms that protect and multiply your first fruits. Keep watching. Keep listening. You have been in the soil for a long time. Quietly, faithfully, you tended what you had. Ideas, relationships, small disciplined choices that felt invisible. Now the ground shifts. God speaks, and what was hidden begins to show. The first shoots do not erupt all at once. They unfold. They are careful, deliberate. Your heart recognizes the movement before your eyes do. Breathe. Watch. This is not a sudden windfall that overturns your life overnight. It is the opening of a door you thought closed. Opportunities that once passed you by now pause and look your way. People who felt distant return with a willingness to help. Small streams of provision gather, then widen. Bills that seemed relentless ease. The pressure you carried starts to lift as systems rearrange, not by your scrambling, but by the invisible hands that prepared you to steward this season. While you waited, something crucial changed in you. God worked on your way of seeing. Your mind grew patient. Your vision became clearer, no longer scattered by fear. You learned to manage less with integrity, to make decisions with steadier hands. These refinements are the currency of a harvest that lasts. The reward arriving corresponds to the depth of the work done within you. You may still hesitate. Hope feels risky. You may want to rush in and take back control, or retreat to the safety of what is familiar. Hear this, gently but firmly. Do not rush. Do not retreat. Walk forward with the measured steps of someone who has been trained for this moment. Allow the provision to be allocated in ways that honor the growth you have undergone. This harvest is about more than money. It is about rest that refreshes, dignity that steadies, and a stability that can be passed on. Notice one small sign today: a call, a clear debt, an idea finding its partner. Share it below. What first shoot are you seeing? Your story may help others recognize their own green. Stay with this turning. In the next video, we will explore how to steward these first fruits so they multiply and remain. You have been planting in seasons that felt endless, small acts of faith, quiet sacrifices, notes of prayer tucked into ordinary days. Now a voice, gentle and unmistakable, says the long wait is turning. The soil that looked unyielding begins to stir. You watch as the first shoots of a financial harvest break through, not a wild, overnight windfall, but a steady, sacred unfolding that matches the patience you practiced. As you breathe in this moment, you sense something inside you has changed. While you waited, God refined your thinking, pruning fear, widening your vision, teaching you how to steward increase with humility and wisdom. Your capacity has been built. Your hands, once trembling at the thought of blessing, are now steady enough to receive and steady enough to give. Opportunities begin to align. Doors you didn't see before open quietly. Invitations come with a kind of rightness. Burdens that felt immovable start to lighten. You may still be cautious. That caution is not a failure. It is part of the careful soul God has shaped in you. Do not rush into the first bright offering. Do not retreat at the first whisper of doubt. Walk slowly, with reverence, testing each step by prayer and the counsel of peace. The harvest that arrives is about more than money. It brings rest where there was weariness, dignity where there was compromise, and a foundation under your family that can hold for years to come. Listen for the small confirmations, a timely call, a clear next step, a peace that settles over your choices. Receive them as the steady, gracious unfolding of a promise kept. You are being invited into a season of redistribution, of blessing, responsibility, and possibility. Let gratitude shape your hands before abundance shapes them. What subtle opening are you noticing today that stirs your curiosity? Share a reflective comment below about one small sign you've seen, a step, a piece, a shifted thought. When you're ready, come to the next video. We'll walk through practical, faith-rooted ways to steward this harvest without losing what matters most. You have tended a silence that felt like waiting without end. You watered small promises with patient hands, night after night, until your arms ached and doubt whispered that the soil had nothing left to give. Now God speaks, not as thunder, but as a careful, steady voice that names what has been happening behind the scenes. The season of planting was never wasted. It was preparing you. What you are seeing now is the first unfolding of a harvest that respects the long wait. Opportunities begin to align in ways that feel inevitable because you were being formed to receive them. Doors do not fling open all at once. They open with timing that protects your integrity and your capacity. Where you once felt scarcity, provision arrives with a dignity that gives you room to breathe, to plan, to steward. This is not just money changing hands. It is the restoration of rest, the returning of time, the reconstitution of stability that lasts. God refined your mindset in the quiet. He adjusted your vision so you would recognize what is valuable and what will endure. The patience you thought was survival was a classroom. You learned discernment. You learned to manage little things faithfully, and you built, unnoticed, the habits necessary to handle more. Now that more is on its way, you are not being rushed into abundance. You are being invited to step into it with wisdom. There will be caution in your heart that is natural and honored. Do not let fear harden you into retreat. Do not race ahead trying to force the timing or compromise what matters. Instead, receive this turning point gently, with gratitude, and with the steady confidence that the reward matches the wait. Curious about what shape this harvest might take for you? Leave a thoughtful comment below. What has waiting taught you? And what are you afraid to receive? Stay with this question, then watch the next video to learn how to steward what is coming without losing the peace you earned. You have lived in the quiet season long enough to know the weight of waiting. Those seeds you planted in meek faith, the small offerings of time, courage, and resources, seemed to sleep beneath the soil. Then, soft as dawn, God speaks. The waiting has been witnessed, and a harvest is beginning to unfold. You feel it not as a thunderclap, but as a widening of the airway. More space to breathe, more room to receive. As you listen, you recognize the quiet work God has done in you while you thought nothing was happening. Your mindset was refined. Scarcity gave way to stewardship. Comparison softened into discernment. Your vision was adjusted. No longer chasing every shiny promise. You see the pathways that match your calling. God has built into you the capacity to hold what is coming, to steward money with humility, to carry dignity without haste. Signs arrive gently. Opportunities that make sense rather than dazzle. Conversations that unlock doors. Burdens easing as obligations are rearranged to honor rest. Provision comes in forms you did not expect. A steady client, a reconciled relationship, an invitation aligned with your gifts. It feels both surprising and inevitable, as if the universe is reshuffling itself to meet a prayer you have been faithful to pray. You may still be cautious. The memory of hard seasons makes hope feel risky. Hear this: do not rush. Do not retreat. Move with measured faith. Receive with gratitude and with wisdom. Test each open door with prayer, counsel, and the discernment that your season of refinement has cultivated. This harvest is more than income. It is rest for your bones, dignity for your days, and a relational stability that carries into future generations. Allow yourself to rest into the truth that the reward matches the wait, that what is arriving has been ordained to restore and to equip you for faithful stewardship. Curiosity: what small sign of change are you beginning to notice in your life or finances? Leave a reflective comment below, one sentence, one moment. Stay with us for the next video, where we will gently walk through how to steward the first fruits of this coming harvest. You have waited. You have watered in secret. Breathe prayers into the quiet soil of your life. And in the hush between despair and dawn, God speaks with a voice both gentle and unshakable. The season of planting is giving way to the season of harvest. You may feel cautious, as if hope must be tested before it can be trusted, and that caution is not wrong. Your carefulness has been part of the preparation, but hear this clearly. What arrives now is measured to the length of your waiting, and it comes with purpose beyond comfort or convenience. What has been refined in you during the years of patience is not simply endurance, but stewardship. God has been shaping your hands to manage increase, softening fears so you might receive with a heart that honors the source. Opportunities will line up in ways that feel both surprising and inevitable, small doors swinging wide into rooms you once only imagined. Money will come, yes, but the true harvest is dignity, rest, and a steady foundation that honors your calling and secures those you love. Move slowly into this gift. Do not rush to spend or to prove. Do not retreat out of disbelief. Let your steps be measured by gratitude and wise counsel. Pause when decisions tempt you to haste. Listen for the confirmations that match the inner peace God is restoring. Your capacity has been increased precisely so you can steward more, not just to receive, but to redistribute, to bless, and to break cycles for the next generation. Receive this as a sacred invitation to breathe, to trust, and to act with integrity. Watch how burdens lighten and doors open, and let the unfolding teach you to rest in provision rather than chase it. You are stepping into a promise that was always meant for your season. Curiosity: what small sign of change are you beginning to notice today? Comment. Share one hopeful truth you can hold on to this week. Next video, when you're ready, join the next message where we will pray specifically over your finances and map practical steps to steward this coming increase.